So joining me here now to reflect on how the fall semester has been up to this point and what we can expect to see in the spring here at Eastern, let's bring in the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Bill Salka. Dr. Salka, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So when we spoke back in May, there were still a lot of unknowns on how the campus was going to operate this fall. And you said to me back then, if there's any way we can do it, we prefer the on-ground approach here at Eastern. We're not an online institution. We'll never be an online institution unless, of course, we have to be during this global pandemic. How do you feel the fall semester has been here on campus at Eastern?
I think the fall has gone incredibly well, probably better than most of us expected going into the fall. I think the students, the faculty, and the staff have done a great job following all of the protocols that we put in place. We've had very few cases on campus this semester. We have seen a slight increase in this week before the Thanksgiving break. That has been traced mostly back to Halloween parties, with Halloween being on a Saturday. And I think students kind of being contained very well throughout the fall probably let loose a little bit. But I think probably the biggest lesson we can take from this fall semester is that the protocols did work. They have been effective in protecting both students and faculty in the classrooms. And in fact, to date, we have not been able to trace a single infection to a classroom building or to a residence hall. So it looks like the few cases we have had this semester were contracted off campus.
So talking about those classes, they're looking very different than how they were when we were all back on campus for that first part of the spring semester last year. 65% of the courses were on-ground hybrids or on-ground hybrid where the class is split in half and you alternate the days that you meet in person versus meeting online, or on-ground courses fully spread out, small class in a massive gathering meeting hall, and then 35% of the classes were online. Will those numbers stay the same for the most part? Or are we expecting more classes to be on ground as of now or online?
So as of right now, and I don't expect much change between now and the spring semester, we will have the same ratio. It's about 65% will be on ground and the 35% online. And we do like that balance. First of all, we're very proud that of all the public institutions in Connecticut, we have by far the largest proportion of courses on ground. Most of the other publics are inverted. They have the vast majority of their classes are online, and just a few of them are on ground. And again, as I spoke in May, we really do value that one-on-one, face-to-face, in-person education that is so important to the Eastern mission. And so I think it's gone well. Some of those big auditoriums, there were some bumps, right? So the concert hall was not designed to be a classroom, but I think the faculty have adapted very well and the students have. So we're really looking forward to a repeat of the spring with that large number of on-ground in-person activities.
Again, we spoke back in May talking about that one-on-one connection that the faculty likes to build with those small class sizes here at Eastern. There was a concern about not being able to do that if we started an online virtual format. How have the faculty adjusted to teaching in this new normal?
They've done an exceptional job. They've adapted. I mean, no one was hired. No one came to Eastern to teach, wanting to teach online, again, because of our on-ground mission, our liberal arts focus. But the faculty have done a great job. They learned a lot from the spring and improved their courses based on that. We did do a lot of training over the summer. We bought a lot of new equipment. And so I think we've done a great job. And that's all credit to the faculty. And we do know that really being on ground, even if it's just one class a week, right, does create that connection between the faculty member and the students with each other. And so it really does help to counter that feeling of isolation that so many people are feeling during this pandemic. And I hope will kind of carry us through the winter and then back on ground in the spring.
So this adjustment was also very big for the students here at Eastern with that focus on distance learning. How has Eastern worked to help the students that have been struggling with that adjustment? I know the University Senate is taking up this week a bill about a credit, no credit policy, kind of like the one that we saw in the spring. Can you kind of touch on that and any other ways that Eastern has tried to help students during this different time that we're in?
Sure, we do recognize that a large number of our students are struggling in this environment. They're not doing as well as they would under a normal environment. And so one of the things that is happening, the faculty are looking at adopting the credit, no credit policy that we adopted in the spring, which would allow students to put any of their courses this semester on credit, no credit. And then if they receive a grade of D or better, they get credit for the course. There are no restrictions. The traditional normal policy says you can only do one a semester, and it can't be a major course, and it can't be a tier 2 or tier 3 LAC. This revised policy kind of waives all of that for this semester. We're hoping that will help, and I would encourage students to take advantage of it if the Senate does approve that policy today. Some other things we've done, we have a stack of laptops, and any student who needs a laptop to participate remotely simply needs to ask, and we will loan them one for the semester, and we can loan them one for the spring as well. We have noticed that we do need to provide more support for our struggling students, and so the Advising Center has been hosting workshops. We're putting some faculty teams together to intervene with students who may need a little more outreach, may need a little more help to get through this. And so, we're really doing everything we can, but we also need the students to identify themselves and come to us and ask for help. If a student just disappears and will not respond to a faculty email or an advisor's email, we don't know what the issues are, and there's not much we can do for them. So I would really encourage any student who is seeing this and struggling right now to contact their faculty advisor, go to the Advising Center, contact the Advising Center, just reach out. There's a lot of help and assistance out there. All they need to do is ask.